Look, I put my hand on women, so you're going to be in here beating me up.
All right, Prodigal Son.
Welcome back. You're tuned in to the Profit and Growth Hour here on WDRBmedia, the voice of the community. I am Dr. Business.
And locked and loaded is your Lady Guns. That's greatness under no stipulation.
And we are so glad that you have tuned in, stayed tuned in, are still tuned in to fear. We're trying to abolish it, get rid of it, put it under your feet, stamp it out. Do not be fearful. God has not given us a spirit of fear. So we have to make sure that even if we are a little apprehensive, oftentimes it stops us from walking. We have to overcome fear and procrastination, because fear creates procrastination in people. And because you're afraid of doing something, obviously you now don't do anything at all.
Right.
It's okay to pause, to be patient, to be methodical, to plan your work your plan, but to not do anything. There are so many people that just won't do anything because they scared.
Right. And then that fear leads into depression, because now you're not doing anything. You're not living that best life. You're not moving into what you know you can do. And I think fear is, we use the acronym false evidence appearing real. You know, if you are fearful of something, and I love it. When I was a small child, I remember seeing, you know, they were saying fear
Versus
God.
a big child.
Yeah, I am a big kid at heart. Come on now, Dr. Biz. You already know.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I don't want to grow up on the Toys R Us. It don't matter because they went out of business. But anyway. But I remember, you know, I was confused because they were saying fear God. But yet you want me to go to him, but I'm afraid of him. And I later understood that fear meant respect. Having a respect for.
Right.
So there are things that I am fearful of, but not in the sense where I'm paralyzed, but I respect it. I'm not going to just blatantly just shoot it off or whatever. I'm going to respect it because I don't want to mess it up. I have a fear of disappointing clients. Not that I'm afraid of them, but I'm approaching them with a level of respect for what it is that they have confined in me, you know, the things that they've told me, but also what they have invested their resources in that, allowing me to be a part of, you know, in their succession and in their goals. So
was that conversation I overheard you having the other day?
One?
I don't know, you were talking about your boo thing, and you were fearful of disappointing him, and you just, you know, you were scared of messing it up because you messed stuff up in the past. And you were talking loudly. I was saying, you know, she was talking loudly. So, you know, if you gonna share it with the public, no.
Listen. Yes. Yes.
He picked up all the keywords.
Taking notes, huh?
Is that why you asked to see my phone? Who this is? How about who this be on your phone? But yes, that was one of those things where I don't just blatantly, I was previously married, and now that I have been single as long as I was married, I've completely reset. And that was intentional. I didn't race back into the dating scene or whatever because I wanted to rebuild. I wanted to be made whole and new and actually allow that relationship to run its course through my veins. You know, even though I was okay. Yeah, even though I was okay, it didn't stop me from the first 3 anniversaries of thinking this would have been our next anniversary. This would have been whatever. It didn't stop me from thinking we said we would be married this long and then we would have kids. Our child would have been, you know. So once that weaned out and I was like, who that be? And then I was good to go.
I was going to say what?
Right. Who you talking about? Oh, yeah. I forgot about
What's
that.
His name?
Right. You know, tan line gone, like I'm good. But I actually, in the relationship that I'm in, the fear, the respect of it is because I want to make sure that this relationship gets even greater than what I gave in my first marriage. That this relationship, you know, and it's a respect for it because there's no way he should have to suffer for something somebody else did 10 years ago.
Right.
You know, so that is what you eavesdropped. You know.
Is there anything, April, you'd like to share, AP, regarding the
AP.
Struggles of past relationships and boo things?
Oh no.
No, yeah, no.
Oh no.
You want to share some baby mama drama or anything like
no.
that? Or,
I am sucker free and drama free.
Okay.
I do not live my life like that.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
I focus my energy on my kids, and I finally made the decision to invest in myself. I found out what my worth was.
Yes.
And I
Go
said,
ahead,
I
girl.
am tired of working for other people, and I'm going to do this if I have to do it by myself.
Right.
And that was my fear of being alone. But faith is the substance of things hoped for and the
Evidence of things not seen. That's right.
And so I had to manifest that in my mind. And so now, you know, I'm encouraging my mom. You know, I just pushed my mom to go back out. My mom drives for Snyder, and I'm not Snyder, Swift. She drives for Swift, and we are in the process of trying to get our own fleet. We're trying to send my brothers to truck driving school.
Very good.
You know, and get them to drive for my mama.
Right.
So
Okay.
that when my mama get old, y'all gonna take care of my mama.
Absolutely.
You
That's
gonna help me take care of my mama.
legacy.
You know, we're
That's
trying to-
legacy.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so throughout my family, it seems like we are the only ones that don't have a family house, a big mama house. You know, we don't have land, we don't have property.
You're not the only one.
And
You ain't the
so
only
I
one.
am tired. You know, I want to leave when my mom leaves this world, or she's already on her way. But when I leave this world, I don't want to leave my kids clothes and shoes. They need land.
Cute as those shoes.
I don't want to leave my kids my clothes and shoes and debt. You know,
Right.
I want them to have property.
You
I
putting
want
their
them to-
names on the bottom of the shoe.
Right.
Yeah.
This left one is for you. The right one is for your sister. And-
They be talking about, Mama said that I could have them. You know, it's in the will.
Exactly.
You get them for 3 months, I get them for 3
Oh
months.
my God. And don't mess them up either.
Right.
So that's
would've
my
wanted
goal.
me to have.
I found out what my worth was. Yes, I have had experienced some really foul relationships from some really foul, toxic people. But those was one of the cases where I didn't know how toxic they were until I knew how toxic, you know, until I put some time in, until I really got to know that person. And I'm like, my mental health issues and your mental health issues don't mix. So
Right.
we got to say, you know, so it
Was that something that you were able to discern yourself, or did you need somebody from the outside saying, hey, girl, he ain't good for you, and
No, I
you
discerned it
okay.
myself. I
Okay.
figured it out myself. You know, the way that it made me feel in my heart and in my mind, they were not on accord. They did not agree. You know, I just, I had to fight a demon. The man didn't want to go to church. And I have a problem with that. I love church. We didn't got to walk up in there every Sunday like we sanctified and holy, but give God some of your time, because he is the very reason that you opened your eyes. You know, I'm not going to go and sit up in church every Sunday and act like I got it all together, but I'm going to go pay my tithes. I send about $100, maybe $120 back home to my home church that I was born and raised up in. God bless Bethlehem Missionary Baptist Church. But, you know, I send them my tithes. You know, I do my due diligence. You know, I'm not a perfect person, you know, but
None of us are.
I pride myself on being punctual and pleasant. You know, and that's
What you slapped my hand for?
I gave you a high five.
That wasn't for a high five. High five is like that.
Oh, what are we doing?
That's for an offering.
Oh no.
The tithes and offering. It's a
Tithes and
combination. And you did not mention where your offering was going. So
what's the name of the
saw
Missionary
it.
Baptist Church? Your check is in the mail.
I said I pay my tithes.
Right.
I pay my tithes.
All right.
On that note, Drew.
This is the Prodigal Son here.
It's Prodigal
with
Son.
S-U-N.
Because I'm finding my light. I've been in a that's like a recent alias that I've started to go by. I've just been in a pretty deep spiritual path lately. I'm pretty young, 24, so I'm really starting to learn a lot about myself and just, you know, where I'm going.
You pretty young, you know, 19 and 20-year-olds like, oh my God, he's a grandfather.
Yeah. They do like this. Yeah. I work with kids too, so they look up. I mean, they call me Uncle Drew sometimes. Yeah. So I mean, I like that. But you know, you're only as old as you think you are.
Absolutely.
You're only as old as you think. So
right.
I like to keep that in mind as I live my life and kind of interact with different people. Make sure I keep a youthful nature about me.
Great. Have you ever encountered fear in a way where it left you stagnant, and you can look back now and say, I would have been here sooner had I not let that fear get in the way?
Yeah, just as far as just me and my artistry. I'm a spoken word artist. Yes. I work with kids, like I said. I just graduated college. And as far as just my artistry, my fear of just like getting up in front of people, being on a stage, you know, that kind of, even now when I'm doing my performances and things like that, I get that nervous feeling inside like every time, but I learned how to transmute it back into, you know, positive energy. And so I feel like, you know, back when I was, you know, 18, 19, 20, I could have been using that time to be getting on stages and getting exposure and getting to different shows and things like that, getting to different events and stuff like that. But, you know, time is a man-made construct, you know, and I feel like, you know, you should take your time and you should think long term when it comes to art and things like that. Right. And so, so I'm just taking it day by day. Like you guys said earlier, it's false evidence appearing real. So I just try to take that time to myself, like I said, on my spiritual journey, and meditation and things like that, to learn how to take that fear and turn it into, you know, positive feelings and confidence in those things that'll push me forward, and to raise my vibrations, to get around people who can actually help me to move forward in that path and to help my development in being an artist. Right.
Fear can be fueled by your environment.
Yes.
If you're around a bunch of people that are afraid to pursue their own dreams, they're going to always find a reason why you can't pursue yours.
Yes.
They're always going to say, oh, what about the money? And you know your rent due and this and that, and it'll always be something. Well, absolutely, I do know it's due, but I also know that I'm not going to live a life where I'm living paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
And living here with you, that's all I see. So I am going to have to venture out on faith and trust and believe that this gift and talent that God has given me is going to propel me into another place. I'm going to have fear, reverence, respect for it.
Yes.
So I'm going to commit to the grind. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to stay up late and get up early in order to accomplish what I need to accomplish.
Yes.
So, does any of your spoken words speak to stepping out on faith or overcoming fear or achieving your dream, success, reaching beyond?
I don't really have any specific pieces on that, and I feel like that's coming very soon. But really, I'm into a lot of like metaphysical knowledge and things like that, and I'm also into like studying, you know, the effects of our society on the individual. Like I went to school for sociology, so you know, I have spoken word pieces about, you know, how technology affects our brains. And I have spoken word pieces about how the educational system affects the community at large, as far as, you know, my community, where I come from, the Black community. I have pieces about, you know, my spirituality. I have to go, I have a punchline in this. I got to go inward. That's the only way out. And I say that repeatedly through, and you were even talking about that earlier. So yeah, I have pieces that kind of allude to that, to those types of ideas, but not necessarily specifically to myself.
Like premature ejaculation?
Why does everything?
No, that's what he said.
About
he said you have to go in order to come back to be right? Is that right?
You're right.
Exactly.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No,
to not encourage.
Just because you don't understand. And just because you can't read between the lines, you have to hear what's said and what.
Do y'all see how deep we get?
To be able
that all of a sudden we in a nudist colony.
Yeah, that's true though.
With a premature ejaculation
and shoes.
Always and shoes.
I didn't even know what to say.
And look, if you'd have let shoes last long enough, they'd have been upside down on the ceiling somewhere. I'm telling you.
But actually, I do have a business that I'm trying to start. I'm gonna stop saying trying. I am starting, and it's called Conscious Connection. So it started as a organization on UNCC. That's where I graduated from. We registered there, and we're also registered at North Carolina A&T. And that is basically about spiritual development, spiritual awareness, things like that. So me and my friends, my friend Kanai over in Greensboro, he had this thing called Wisdom Wednesdays, where he would bring a lot of like-minded individuals together. So there's people out there who don't necessarily have a specific religion, but they respect all religions. They still have love. They say their religion is love. Or you hear people these days say, I'm more spiritual than religious. So we're kind of targeting that community of people, and we bring them together to talk about things like racism, talk about things like segregation, talk about things like family, talk about things like metaphysics, talk about things like what's in the popular media, and just kind of take it deeper, have those conversations that people are fearful to have, things that people are kind of skip over, and that kind of grew into what we call Conscious Connection now. And even going back to what you were saying earlier, how that I feel like that I have a fear of something that I wish that I would have started earlier, then I would have, that's one of the things that I would have worked on a lot earlier, because I was talking about it for about 2 years, and then we finally got the process of getting it established on campus, and so now it's just growing, and it's just like growing into a lot more than anything I thought it would be.
Right.
And I'm excited about it. I just recently met a revenue strategist who's helping me to find different forms of income to be able to expand more outside of colleges as well. So it's really just been a journey with that. And so
revenue strategist, is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I didn't know if you had said reverend strategist.
Oh, no.
I thought that was
Reverend
strategist.
Reverend Dr. Strategist.
I was like, okay, is that a new? Okay, you learn something new every day on the Profit and Growth Hour. Okay, a revenue strategist. Okay,
Yeah.
All right.
So that's definitely been getting the ball rolling with that here lately. And I'm excited. I'm really excited about where that's going.
Great. A lot of times we don't get things started when we think that we should have, but I do believe that God has his epic timing.
Divine timing.
Everything is intentional, and what we have to do is, I truly believe I have no regrets in my life. Like, I literally can't say, dang, I wish I had, or whatever, because
you were in a coma. You don't regret that?
No,
Going
absolutely
scuba diving,
not. No,
dying,
Yeah, you can't
no,
being
absolutely
like
not.
plugs and everything
Absolutely
all inside your whatever. They had to
No.
clean your blood 50 times and
No.
went up
I
to
don't
heaven, came
regret
back
it.
down 6 times.
I even value that incident, among many others that tried to take my life. I'm a professional survivor. Like, I literally have been at death's door multiple times, and I just truly believe that God won't give us anything that we can't bear. Like, he won't put more on us than what we can handle. I was built for that. No others were built for it, and it is a part of the foundation of the work that I do and how I invest the time that I have. Like, I have learned the value of time. Since that incident, I now have a demand on myself that if I think of a person, no matter what I'm doing, I need to stop, send them a text, or just call or something, but just, hey, just want to let you know I was thinking about you, saying a prayer for you. I don't have time to talk. Maybe I do, but it really hit me in a place where I had a girlfriend call me yesterday. I haven't heard from her in almost a year, and it brought me to tears. She was like, you were just on my heart. I do that for people all the time. So for somebody to come back, and I thought about her and stuff, but you get caught up in life and who I do, and then it's midnight and I ain't calling late, and then the next day. But she was like, I just knew when I got out of work I was going to call you. And we just caught up, and then that was it. But when challenges come our way, we have to learn how to use them as a foundation to where we're going.
Right.
Not let them be a crutch to hold us back, or an excuse to not try again, or to not continue pursuit of our purpose.
How can they hear your broadcast? Prodigal Son.
Yes. So I have a broadcast called Conscious Conversations with Prodigal Son, and that is airing at 10 a.m. on Sundays, Eastern Standard Time. Yes. And you can also follow me on Instagram at _Prodigal Son for more updates about Conscious Connection, as well as my poetry as well.
And that's Prodigal Son with the S-U-N, not
S-U-N.
S-O-N.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
AP.
And you can listen to me. I'll talk about anything, and and try to enlighten people, and maybe even be a platform for people to be heard. And you can follow me at Dope Radio, WDRBmedia. My name is AP, AYEPEA.
And your showtime?
At my showtime, it airs at 11 a.m. Eastern Time.
What day?
On Wednesdays.
Thank you. They're going to tune in every day at 11 a.m. until they hear AP.
Yeah.
Just log in. It's always somebody good to listen to on there.
It is.
Family, you're tuned in to the Profit and Growth Hour here on WDRB Media,
the voice of the community.
Y'all say that so well.
They really do. Come in.
The voice.
Smell it out. Slip it up sometimes.